What's good, y'all? It's your boy Ross back at it again with another video. So I'm gonna check out 10 wrestlers fans loved at one point, and then they started to hate them. Now, here's the interesting thing about this particular scenario that usually happens. It'll be a situation where the fans, got invested into the wrestler's character. They had some great matches, great feuds, and of course, people tend to like that. And then there may be a hiatus. Maybe the wrestler goes away for a while, comes back, and maybe their matches are not as good. Or maybe the storylines that they're involved in make no sense or not as good. Or even in some situations, the character is not the same. For example, and it was seen in the video or in the thumbnail of this particular video, Kane from back in the day, in comparison to Kane that was in the Authority, was different, leagues apart. I think a lot of people love what Kane was doing when he first got introduced into WWE, and then when he lost the mask, that first time you seen his face and how brutal and sadistic he was, fans were still gravitating to the character. It wasn't until he got rid of the mask, he got rid of the fire and brimstone and started being the Authority's lackey and their corporate guy and started wearing suits and stuff. That's when fans all right, bro, we don't know what version of Kane this is, but we don't like it. So it just depends. But we're gonna go down memory lane, check out some of these scenarios where wrestlers at one point they were loved by the fans, and then ultimately, the fans all right, bro, get them off my TV. Is this on?
In wrestling, the crowd might reject someone a company is trying to push.
Yep.
Including those that were once beloved, but the people have grown tired of, perhaps due to a storyline or bad booking.
Vince just wanted to push me, shove me down their throats as a babyface, and it just got, it's gotten worse and worse.
And that is exactly a lot of how things would go. Vince would push characters that fans were not trying to buy into or didn't care as much anymore, at least the way that he was trying to push them, and the fans would just reject them every single time.
As the fans let their feelings be known and their voices be heard.
I don't know who's booing. I want thanking the ones who are not booing right now.
This might cause a wrestler to turn heel or even remain a face, which can rile up the audience even more.
But he would join.
Yeah. Boys didn't care.
Take a look at various examples today as we list 10 times wrestling fans turn on their heroes.
That's crazy. That's so crazy.
Return to Vince. I'm like, what am I supposed to do?
In 2018, Ronda Rousey arrived in WWE to much press and hype. The first half of her run was handled well, as she was given time to plan out her matches, which received praise from fans. Things began to take a downward turn when the company tried to make Ronda cut scripted promos, when it was clear that wasn't her selling point.
I think Sasha making me get better today than she was just. All right.
Oh, that was so cringe. Ew. It was so cringe. And I get that she was trying, but yeah, trying to remember lines when she doesn't give off the vibe of someone remembering lines. If anything, have a mouthpiece for her to talk for her, or just give her bullet points of kind of setting up the feuds and the matches, kind of work with her on there. But trying to give her a script, it just, you could tell a lot of it was scripted and trying to remember stuff.
You got me to stutter. Good job.
The initial cheers eventually turned to boos, because Ronda went from coming in as an authentic version of herself to the watered-down character WWE were trying to make her.
Yeah.
I'm sure most of you guys know that last week, the Bella Twins. Last year, I stepped into this ring for the first ever all-women's Royal Rumble.
Oh, you hear the boos. Oh, my God.
The negative reaction really began to accelerate at Survivor Series, when Ronda was booed out of the building.
Yep.
Unsympathetic Los Angeles crowd.
The WWE didn't turn Rousey heel until a month before the final match of her first run in March 2019. But the whole thing shows you how bad the company's creative was during this period, that they could mess up the baddest woman on the planet.
Ronda Rousey, Natalya, both former world champions.
And they're not talking
And the more
about
they speed it
Natalya.
up, the more Ronda wasn't feeling the character, hence the decline of her work. The Big Show and Kane have had an interesting relationship with the audience over the years. The two have turned back and forth between heel and face so many times that their booking and storylines has sometimes left fans in attendance silently scratching their heads. Even during moments when they're meant to be cheered, the crowd have reacted with pure indifference.
Big Show is down at WrestleMania.
Ain't no one cared.
Can you believe it?
No one cared.
I thought Kane was going to come out here and literally rip his head off tonight. Well, it hasn't. I don't think he liked it. And Kane.
And I think with Kane, and like I said, like when he was the Big Red Machine, just this dominant force, like he came off scary. He came off like someone you don't want to mess with. He will hurt you. And even when he took his mask off for that first period, for that a little while, he was just, it was like the mask being off of him made him that much more dangerous, and you really had to be careful crossing paths with him. And then it's like they kind of turned him into a joke, and it got even worse with the whole authority thing. He was completely cooked after that, character-wise.
Step to the outside.
Fans really got fed up with the duo during their time as part of the Authority stable in 2014. Crowds were already restless when Show was heavily inserted into Daniel Bryan's feud with the faction the previous year. If the infamously hot and cold Giant didn't side with the Authority, then why wait another 12 months to pull the trigger?
You'll honor the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, the Big Show.
Kane, meanwhile, traded in the mask for a suit and slacks. This was easily one of the worst incarnations of the Big Red Machine. He lost almost every match, and like Show, had go-away heat with the fans.
To invoke our rematch clause.
Yes, bro. Like I said, bro, it became get off my TV. I am tired of seeing one of our greats just be used in such a dumb, belittling way.
Just when Brock thought he was.
The people still respected them. They were just frustrated over the booking and bad creative. It was a far cry from the days when fans loved Masked Kane, or even cheered him on SmackDown in 2006 and 2007. Show had even been world champion as recently as 2013 prior to turning heel again, but neither he nor Kane would ever be looked at the same by the higher-ups, following their work with the Authority.
That is a giant. I'm a giant. We know. We heard you, John. Yes, you are. He just said that.
By 2016, they had both turned face, but were essentially glorified nostalgia acts who came in and out every so often.
So sweet.
No one cared.
Neither were used in an effective capacity, something Big Show vocally spoke out against, though nothing changed. 2018 was the last year Big Show and Kane were both semi-active on the roster simultaneously. Show and Kane were perhaps their most hated during the 2015 Royal Rumble debacle.
WWE fans not happy.
With the fans turned on Roman Reigns because they wanted their hero, Daniel Bryan, to win.
You hear the
Reigns
boos.
picked up the victory on the night, but his moment was marred by boos, which his cousin The Rock couldn't even prevent.
Well, wait a minute. There he is. Roman Reigns is going to WrestleMania.
No one wanted to see this.
Roman had been cheered as a face during his days in the Shield and leading up to the Rumble event. However, from this point on, the fans let Reigns have it. Since many of them didn't want to see him as the top dog, his segments were often jeered and overshadowed by the backlash.
No one wanted to see it.
I'm not a bad guy. I'm not a good guy. I'm the guy. This is my yard now. This is my yard.
And that could have worked if they just went with it. That's all they had to do was just go with that. This is my yard now. I run the show. I don't give a damn about what y'all feel or how y'all feel. Y'all came to see me. Boom. Boom. That's all you had to fucking do. But hey, we got it many years later, so.
This is my yard now.
All the while, Reigns struggled to turn the audience.
I don't care what y'all say. This is my boy, and I'm happy for you. And I just want to say congrats, man. Now, hey, Chicago, this ain't boring, baby. This is real life. The match. Wait, y'all can't hear me or something? All the dudes chanting that I can't wrestle, calm down, take a sip of your beer and shut your mouth.
Roman's matches were regularly being hijacked due to how much he was being forced down our throats.
Roman still suffering from that low blow.
And one thing that AJ Styles knows, will that be a factor?
No question, his pace.
Beat the traffic.
I don't like you getting sucked in or the rest of us.
Oh my God. And now Lesnar delivering the huge right-handed blow.
In fact, numerous moments of his that would have been career-defining for most wrestlers are looked back on with disdain due to the WWE's failure to book Reigns as a babyface.
I think this was right after he beat The Undertaker. This was the most heat he had gotten in his career. The night he beat The Undertaker in the WrestleMania, the Monday Night Raw after, he didn't say a damn. He just let them go out there, and the fans gave him nothing but pure hatred. And it was so good because all he said was, "This is my yard now." I was like, you know what? I love this. Oh, this is good. I'm thinking they're going to expand upon this. No, it was all for nothing, bro. It was all for fucking nothing. If there was any time to turn him heel, it was this time right here.
After 2005, John Cena went through the same hardships Roman did 10 years after, and like Reigns, initially Cena was not equipped to handle the negative response, as he went from the edgy non-PG rapper to a more family-friendly poster boy for WWE. The negative reaction became more pronounced the longer Cena was the Federation's golden boy.
Cena has put RVD through the ring of this fall, I'm telling you.
Oh, yeah. Boys didn't like John Cena like that, other than the kids. Like, he dealt with that for years, bro. John Cena sucks.
Even though the tears persisted long after, the 2006 Hall of Fame was a turning point in terms of John's ability to deal with the backlash.
I remember turning to Vince, I'm like, what am I supposed to do? He goes, just go out and smile.
He was booed out of the building in Chicago the whole weekend, including on Raw.
And if John Cena wins here tonight, he's going to disappoint a lot of fans. Listen to this.
Stop the music. I want to hear this.
Yeah.
However, what was different on these nights compared to before is that Cena had the people on his side once the promo was done.
A stupid son of a bitch, but I'm a tough son of a bitch. And half these people want to see me get my ass kicked anyway. You got your match, bitches.
John did this by being himself and staying true to his persona. Over the next decade,
The one thing you couldn't take away from John is his promo delivery was spot on. Even if you didn't like him or not, he could still give you a very passionate promo, and he was able to like hype you up for a match. That's what John's always been really good at, is his promos. That's the one thing. You may not have liked his in-ring ability, you may not have even liked his booking, but you can't deny his promos is what really sold him, in a sense of, for the younger fans and even some of the older fans to kind of somewhat buy into the hype. Whether you believe it or not is up to you, but having a good promo can definitely help you in certain situations where you may be able to bring back the fans just a little bit more.
Cena possessed the ability to go from being booed at the start of a segment to being cheered at the end based on how he spoke to the people.
Now there's a guy wearing a Nordiques jersey over there. They left town in '96, but he will not give up because he fights for what he believes in.
He developed such a rapport with the crowd, even those who disliked him.
Let's go, Cena! Cena sucks!
You see?
It's why his heel turn in 2025 was so jarring in a sense that he opted for the low-hanging fruit when it came to his promo material, which was a far cry from the more nuanced way he communicated to viewers in the past. Some might say John was simply pandering to turn the tide, but how many wrestlers have you seen that were able to consistently turn the crowd like him?
Thank you very much for even mentioning me. Je vais te botter cul, which means...
I remember this.
Roman struggled to do it years later, so it shows you how good Cena truly was. Sure, we sometimes got the rated G Cena, who would dismiss his losses in an almost flippant manner, but more often than not, John backed up the content of his never give up mission statement as the polarizing top babyface that was often booed. The main thing was that people were reacting strongly, one way or another.
Because whether they like you or whether they hate you, the most important thing is that they feel strongly one way or the other.
Earlier we spoke about Roman Reigns being positioned as the hero when the fans demanded Daniel Bryan. 12 months before that, it was Batista in the same spot as Roman, as the fans wanted Bryan in WrestleMania 30's main event instead of the Animal. Dave even eliminated Reigns to win the 2014 Royal Rumble, back when fans were still accepting of Roman during his time with the Shield. Coming out of the Rumble, Batista became Bootista, since he received negative responses every week, which eventually forced the heel turn.
You know, it kind of breaks my heart when I get fans, you know, saying I don't deserve it.
Batista, the winner of this year's
Batista sign.
Side of Batista's head.
WWE fans getting all over Batista.
Yeah.
Batista.
13,000 plus. Here comes a boot from Easter. Batista.
Hey, Shield and Evolution feud, chef's kiss. Such a good feud. Such a good feud. That Shield and Evolution feud was so fucking fire, bro.
We sent Big Batista packing.
It was a case of right guy, right place, wrong time.
Vince just wanted to push me, you know, shove me down their throats as a babyface, and it just got, you know, it got worse and worse, and the more they shoved me down people's throats, the more they resented me for being there.
Though the Animal did a fine job leading into the controversy while being leveled with chance. Batista was previously one of the most popular stars in WWE, but the company he returned to was much weaker from a creative standpoint. After finishing up in June, Dave wanted to return and work SummerSlam to promote his Guardians of the Galaxy movie. However, Triple H and Stephanie McMahon refused. Rather than being supportive of Dave, they laughed him off and questioned if the movie was even going to be successful.
I said it wouldn't be great if I was back. And the number, you know, I was also in the #1 movie in the world, and they kind of had a snicker, and it was, you know, yeah, we don't even know if the movie's going to be good. And it was one of those moments. It was a very uncomfortable moment where I think they were just kind of doubting me and laughing in my face. And it's like, okay, but it's not that I wanted to leave. I even wanted to come back. I mean, you know, they're really difficult to work with, man, and they're just not very, very flexible.
It just goes to show you how warped of an attitude the higher-ups can have at times.
That's kind of cold, and that ended up being a very successful movie. And, you know, it really catapulted his movie acting career. It's actually kind of cold for them to even, like, come at him like that. Like, if it even gets that big, that's crazy. And then it does. And then it's one of those things where, like, hey, you know, we can work out something. You know how that goes, man. Always bet on yourself. Always bet on yourself, because you'll be surprised how many people say they have your back and not really supporting you like you think they would.
The fact that they would openly disrespect a star like Batista, who quite rightly left the company following his subsequent success in Hollywood, and thus we've rarely seen him return since. Perhaps we could have seen Dave drop back in every so often had WWE not dismissed him in 2014 when his film career was just getting off the ground. Before Batista became arguably the best wrestler turned actor, the dawn of Hollywood rock in 2003 saw Dwayne Johnson embrace his career as a movie star on WWE programming. This character was born after the people had enough of the Great One leaving to do movies, only to return months later and then leave again at a later date. SummerSlam 2002 was the final straw. Rock passed the torch to Brock Lesnar on a night where the Long Island faithful let the Brahma Bulls have it.
We know Dub doesn't have fond memories of this moment.
The once beloved People's Champion had now split the audience.
It doesn't matter where The Rock has come back to. Sing along with The Rock is over.
He appeared one more time before turning heel, which came at the Raw 10th anniversary show. The New Yorkers in attendance went in on Rocky, following a weak babyface promo that was pre-taped, as opposed to being live via satellite.
Rock's here via satellite.
Matter of fact, we can't go on. No. The Rock can't go on before he says one thing. The Rock has got to say this, considering where we're at.
This was rare for Rock, who always did his segments live. There is no way he would have cut the same promo otherwise, given the negative response. When the Great One finally came out in front of the people again a few weeks later, he fully embraced the jeers, healing it up like never before.
Sold out. He sold out arenas all over the world, you idiots. There's a Rocky chant.
Which is good. Which is good. It worked out. Sometimes you just gotta go with what the crowd is giving you.
The Rock hears Rocky. The Rock hears Rocky sucks. The Rock heard over here. The Rock hears Hogan. But hey, that's enough.
Hollywood Rock received mostly boos over the next couple months, but it got to the point where he was so entertaining, the crowd were cheering him once more. But fans won't forget the ride the People's Champ took them on during Hollywood Rock's 3-month run. As an EVP and one of the founding members of All Elite Wrestling, Cody Rhodes made a deliberate effort not to book himself on top during his time with the company. Despite being one of the promotion's top stars, Rhodes positioned himself away from the world title picture, where he instead wrestled for the TNT Championship.
If I do not defeat Chris Jericho at Full Gear, I will never challenge for the AEW World Championship again.
Which to me, here's the thing. I get it. You wanted to appease people to not come off like you're booking yourself at the top. I get that, but you're a top guy. I get not wanting to come off selfish, but you're a top guy. Fuck all that, bro. When the story demands it, you book yourself in that situation. When the story demands it. If the story doesn't demand it, then no. This was right when he was about to face Chris Jericho. We knew you wasn't going to win it because Chris just got it. So it would have been fine to just keep that idea going, and at a later time, you could have went for it. So that's just my personal opinion on it. But, just need to hear nor there.
He worked with various up-and-comers and mid-card talent, often doing the honors and putting them over. Cody even feuded with lower-card wrestlers during his final year with AEW, including QT Marshall and Anthony Ogogo. However, this is where fans started to turn on the American Nightmare. The awful rivalry with Ogogo was followed up with average feuds against Malachi Black and Andrade. Rhodes had essentially booked himself into a corner by not wanting to challenge for the title or wrestle in main event programs.
So to make political decisions like boxing myself out of winning a world championship, those decisions in hindsight were not the correct decisions. And if I can't be the best wrestler in the world on television because I'm afraid I'm going to offend colleagues because I am also their boss, that was the situation we were in, and I just played it in the middle. There was only so much of playing it in the middle I could do.
Which meant his overall work suffered. It led to polarizing reactions similar to that of John Cena's, where half the crowd were cheering while the other half were booing, as Rhodes remained a face which only drew more cheers.
But he would join.
Listen to that.
Stoney.
They threw it back.
And Tully Blanchard.
The easy way out is not the way. I will not turn.
It would have been interesting to see how this played out going forward, but at the start of 2022, Cody left AEW to join WWE, where he became a beloved top babyface, a far cry from the mixed reactions he received during his last months in All Elite. The famous double turn between Bret Hart and Stone Cold at WrestleMania 13 was executed to perfection, as the Hitman officially became a heel on the night. But if you watched the build-up to this match, then you saw how Bret had become a crybaby in the eyes of the fans, to the point where he began to receive boos on television a few weeks before Mania, since many viewers were tired of his persistent complaining.
To make some kind of comment. Incidentally,
even though the Hitman had fair grounds to be so upset after constantly getting screwed, the way he went about it rubbed the audience the wrong way.
You screw me, everybody screws me, and nobody does a goddamn thing about it. Nobody in the building cares, nobody in the dressing room cares. So much goddamn it.
But it works because he has a point. But once again, it's giving off the Drew McIntyre. He has a legitimate point, but how he goes about it, how he keeps complaining about it, how he keeps bringing it up. Like, I like that. Like, that's a good design for a justifiable heel, because the fans can understand But at the same time, boys ain't trying to hear this shit all the time, you know? So I appreciate that type of angle of a character turning.
Justice around here. I've had it up to here.
It was a great storyline where much of the heat put on Bret was channeled through Austin, whose rebellious attitude struck a chord with the fans, especially given the juxtaposition between Steve and the moany, why always me Bret.
Bret Hart, ever since you came back, you ain't done nothing but cry.
Unlike our other representatives, Bayley wasn't booed for an extended period after some fans first turned on her, though her reactions certainly diminished. Following great success in NXT, the start of Bayley's run on the main roster was handled relatively well, but things began to fall off a cliff following WrestleMania 33 due to some atrocious creative.
This is hard to watch.
This is your
Bayley,
life segment.
This is your life. Remember that one? That was crickets. Was it Bayley's fault, by the way?
First, she lost the title in her hometown.
At least he knows. At least he knows it wasn't her fault. She was horrendous.
And then going into the Extreme Rules event, the build-up suggested her character was about to develop more of an edge, which would lead to her finally pulling the trigger at the pay-per-view. But this went out the window when she took too long to use a weapon on the night and was easily defeated. From there, Bayley's reaction lessened to the point where she was heavily booed on the August 7th, 2017 Raw.
I don't know who's booing. I want thanking the ones who are not booing right now from the WWE Universe.
I remember this.
World here in Toronto.
And it's not because the show emanated from Toronto, which WWE always labels as Bizarro World, because of how their passionate crowd see through the company's phony booking. The problem was Bayley's character had been greatly damaged due to creative's misguided direction.
I knew it was time for, I already felt it was time for a change. It was just not working anymore. Because of the kind of babyface I was, because of the kind of character I was, I just wasn't seen at that level. That's when it was like, I was getting anxious, like, I need to get out of here.
Some fans believe she had the potential to be the female John Cena, given her amazing run in NXT, and while Bayley has no doubt become one of the greats, her initial run on the main roster was a huge stumbling block. Charlotte has been booed at different points in her career, while also being a popular fan favorite. Though the backlash she faced upon returning in 2025 was particularly strong. Flair returned as a babyface, but it wasn't long until she turned heel after her first promo back, coming off a big victory in the Royal Rumble. It was meant to be a heartfelt emotional address after returning from a one-year layoff due to a lengthy injury.
Tore my ACL, sprained my MCL, shaved down my meniscus.
However, the Queen was booed all throughout. She was stopped a few times, but there was no way back. She was a heel.
Hi, Cleveland.
Cleveland didn't give a fuck.
A year and a half ago, you guys booing me would have bothered me. But here's the thing. I missed you guys. I didn't even know if I was going to make it to WrestleMania.
It sucks because those are probably real emotions, but how they booked it, it's like you book her to come back and just win like that, bro. It's like no adversity. Not to say she didn't go through adversity just to train to get back, but no adversity through the storyline of can I be as great as I once was? It's hard to get behind someone when you know they're going to get booked off of who they are. Like their name is going to be the reason essentially why they get pushed right back to the top of the card. That was the issue. It's like we can see right through this. Like, oh, well, Charlotte's back. It's GG's. But I will say this, ever since they paired her with Alexa Bliss, it's done better for her in the sense she's not chasing the world title. She's paired up with Alexa Bliss. It's actually done better for her, in my personal opinion. It actually has.
WrestleMania. You guys don't get it. This is what I think about.
Charlotte's persona is naturally a heel anyway, especially since she gives off massive Homelander or Cristiano Ronaldo vibes.
See, when you boo, you know what I hear? Money!
Now, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to check out our similar video on the 10 most...
Yeah, man, she's naturally a heel. But they got her in a good spot with Alexa Bliss, so that's actually pretty cool. But hey, comment down below. Let me know some other wrestlers where the fans, you know, initially loved their persona at one point and then they stopped liking them because of whatever character shift or whatever happened with their storyline. Fans just started to lose interest. Comment down below. Let me know, bro. I appreciate all the love, support. Road to 150K. Appreciate y'all kicking with me. See you on the next one. Peace.